Welcome back. Aurelius and Malik, the Treaty Archive. We closed the Peace of Westphalia file today. 5 parts. The end of the story. Centuries have passed, yet the Peace of Westphalia still echoes through every diplomatic chamber and treaty table in the world. It was not merely an end to hostilities. It was a redefinition of order. The treaty signed in 1648 created a new map of Europe, one that acknowledged the rights of self-governing states. This was a radical shift, one that laid the groundwork for modern diplomacy.
Aurelius, while I truly appreciate your perspective, we can't overlook the human cost of those treaties. The 30 Years' War devastated entire generations. Yes, it put an end to wars, but it also deepened divisions that still resonate today. By granting autonomy to so many states, it inadvertently laid the groundwork for future conflicts. We need to remember that behind every treaty, there were real people, families torn apart, lives lost. The peace you describe came at a high price.
You're not wrong about the human cost, Malik. The devastation was immense. Millions perished, and the scars ran deep across entire generations. But we must consider the principles that emerged from this chaos. The idea that states should respect each other's sovereignty in domestic affairs was revolutionary for its time. Sure, it was a gamble, but it was a calculated one, aimed at preventing further conflicts and fostering a fragile peace in a world that had seen far too much violence.
That principle of sovereignty may have been revolutionary, but it also fragmented Central Europe. By recognizing so many self-governing states, the treaty set the stage for nationalism. This isn't merely a theoretical debate. The divisions created then would fuel conflicts for centuries. The real question is whether the peace achieved was worth the seeds of rivalry it sowed.
The treaties reshaped the political landscape in ways we still study today. France and Sweden emerged as significant power brokers, deftly maneuvering their influence. Meanwhile, the Habsburgs lost their grip on dominance, a stark reminder of how quickly fortunes can change. This realignment was essential for stability. The balance of power shifted dramatically, and in our historical perspective, we see how empires must constantly adapt. If they don't, they risk being left behind, forgotten in the annals of time.
But that balance of power came at a hefty price. The fragmentation you celebrate also meant constant rivalries, just like you mentioned. The wars after Westphalia were often driven by political ambition, not faith. Sure, that shift may have been necessary, but it didn't eliminate conflict. It just transformed it into something else. Ordinary people bore the brunt of those struggles. Families torn apart, communities shattered. It's hard to see how that was progress for anyone involved.
True enough. The peace was not absolute. The ambitions of statesmen have always tested these agreements, and we see that clearly in the conflicts that followed. Yet, the framework established in 1648 remains relevant today. Modern diplomacy still rests on the principles laid down in Westphalia. Those treaties introduced a culture of negotiation, a process we still rely on. They laid the groundwork for how nations interact, shaping future engagements in ways that echo through history.
I agree that negotiation became paramount, but let's not idealize it. The multilateral approach you mention often masked the interests of powerful states. We can't forget how smaller nations were frequently sidelined in these discussions. They had voices too, but often went unheard. The Peace of Westphalia might have introduced negotiation, but it also entrenched existing power imbalances, leaving many communities to bear the human cost of decisions made far away from their realities.
That's a valid point. The treaties were far from a cure-all. The balance of power was often skewed, and many leaders still acted out of self-interest. But think about it. Without Westphalia, we might have faced an even bloodier future. Those agreements provided a framework that allowed Europe to evolve. They forced leaders to negotiate rather than resort to endless wars. It wasn't perfect, but it was a step away from chaos, a necessary compromise in a world that craved stability.
And yet, The impact of those treaties was also to create a Europe where the seeds of nationalism would flourish. It wasn't just about peace. It was about identity and power. The ideals of coexistence you speak of were often overshadowed by the realities of ambition and rivalry. The world that emerged was one of continual strife.
The legacy of Westphalia is undeniably complex. The world shaped by those treaties is one we still inhabit today. Its ideals continue to challenge us, especially during times of conflict. The Peace of Westphalia marked both an end and a beginning. It was a bold statement about sovereignty and a testament to our ongoing struggle for stability in an unpredictable world. We're still grappling with the consequences as nations navigate the delicate balance between power and peace.
So we are left with the final question. Was the Peace of Westphalia a true decisive moment, or just another chapter in Europe's long struggle? Its ideals still challenge us today, centuries later. The world it created is the one we still navigate, a world filled with people searching for peace, often facing the harsh realities of conflict. We can't forget the lives affected by these decisions, the hopes dashed, and the dreams deferred, as we continue to seek a better future.
The verdict on Westphalia is still being written, and it's a messy business. Each new conflict and every shifting alliance we see today reflects its complex legacy. We grapple with its ideals, even as we navigate the challenges of our modern world. It's a tangled web. The essence of Westphalia serves as both a reminder of our progress and our failures. We strive for stability, yet history shows us that chaos is often just around the corner.
And that closes the Peace of Westphalia file. 5 parts. One complete story. The full series lives on the Treaty Archive, part of the Archive Network. There's no shortage of files. Browse what pulls at you next.